All right, guys, what's going on? We're coming to you. I was gonna say live, but we're not live. This is still gonna be recorded, but we are on our way back from Canada. Actually, we're still in Canada right now, but thought while the bear hunt is fresh on our minds, we would just take the time while we're in the truck and record a podcast because we're talking about it anyways. So kind of just tell the story of it, how it went, the successes, the failures, the adventures that we had. It was one heck of a trip.
Oh yeah, it was that. This is wild. This has been an adventure to say the least.
Dude, it's been like a roller coaster of emotions. Like just the excitement building up to it, the excitement getting there, and then just from the first day what it was like, and then through the very last day. So I think most everybody knows that's been listening to the podcast. But if you're new to the podcast, so Chad and I Chad booked us a bear hunt. It's been about a year ago?
Yeah.
You called?
Yeah.
Luke?
It was last summer, I think.
Well, you talked to him at the Denver.
Well, but we were already on the schedule then.
Oh.
That was in January. I saw him in Denver.
Oh,
that's
right.
where I originally found him.
I
was at the Denver Expo. Yeah.
Expo.
He 2019, I think.
Yeah, so Chad's been up here. This is your third trip
up here. Yeah, it's an amazing place, dude. It's so special. Like, it's such a cool spot.
Well, it's funny because you always have like talked about it, like, and it sounded amazing just like when you've talked about it.
Yeah.
But you really don't know until you get there, and then you're like, oh wow, this is legit.
Yeah. So Frank Lee and I booked a moose hunt there in 2019. We ended up going in 21 after COVID,
Mm-hmm.
and of course with the COVID rules, we had to get our COVID tests 48 hours. I think it was 48 hours before we crossed the border. Well, Lee tested positive.
Oh, that's right.
The day before we left. So it ended up just being Frank and I that went up. So they rebooked Lee for 2 years later,
yeah.
which was 23, and I wasn't successful in getting a moose that first time, so I rebooked with them and went back with Lee so he didn't have to go by himself. I'm a nice friend that way.
Yeah, you are a good man. Yeah, you sacrificed.
I sacrificed,
to go up
yeah.
Again.
Yeah, so we went back.
Well, you're kind of the man of redemption, too. You had to go get redemption.
I did have to get redemption, yeah, and it worked out good that time. But then, yeah, it just through some various circumstances, you and I ended up getting a deal on a black bear hunt to go back up there, and it was something we've been wanting to do for so long.
Yeah, we always talk about all sorts of different hunts, but bear hunting, something that neither one of us had done.
No.
Well, I'd hunted bear in Colorado, but that's so different. Colorado, well, we could do a whole podcast on Colorado's bear hunting, and
yeah,
that
we've never
is.
really had a bear hunt.
Yeah.
So
we wanted to kind of get that under our...
Yeah, this was a spring bear hunt too, which we don't have in a lot of states anymore. Well, at least Colorado for sure. But
well, it worked out well because you knew these guys, you knew John Luke, you knew
the spot.
Yeah, you kind of knew what we were getting into when you're like, yeah, we should go bear hunting here. Like, I just wanted to go bear hunting, like I had no idea where to go. So when you had this hookup with them or a connection, I guess I should say, with them to be able to come up here and be able to do this. Plus, it's kind of cool to say that you went to Canada to get a bear.
Yeah, it's so fun. And we wanted to go archery, which this is an archery opportunity.
Dude, it's crazy how many people, well, you said it the other day, but how many people are like, Taryn, you're crazy. Like, you're going to go bear hunting and you're taking just a bow? Yeah,
I don't know how many conversations I had before coming up here. Like, oh, you're going bear hunting? I'm like, yeah, with my bow. And they look at me like funny, like, you what? They're like, you're going to shoot with a bow? I'm like, yeah. Well, you're bringing a gun too, right? I'm like, no, actually not. No. Canada's got this weird rule about guns anymore. They aren't friendly with them.
You can't bring a handgun in here,
no,
right?
you can't even get a handgun. They want to confiscate them from even citizens of Canada.
That is so weird.
But anyway, needless to say, that wasn't least of our worries.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about it. My wife was worried about it, and I talked to quite a few other people that are like, yeah, you're not going to take a gun at all, and you're going to hunt something that can hunt you. I'm like, yeah, but
these are black bears and not grizzlies.
Grizzly's a different story. Like when we go to Alaska, absolutely, I'm taking a
we're gonna have
handgun, and
we're gonna be in the bush. We were in the bush, but not to that extent.
Yeah. So we got this booked, and it was just, we were super excited once we had it booked, and but it was so far away, and so I've been talking about it on the podcast. I've been talking about it with pretty much everybody, every guest that's been on. just because I've been excited and looking forward to it. And it finally came. I'm finally able to actually, this is my first time coming to Canada too. So first time coming up here and seeing this part of the world, and doing it on a bear hunt. It was a trip to get up here. It took me 28 hours of driving to get up here. You're
24, yeah.
24. So I drove from Utah, and Chad drove from Colorado. We met up in Gillette, Wyoming, and left my truck there, and then we'll get there tomorrow and get it and head home. So that's kind of the beginning of the adventure, was just the trip to get up here, which that's always kind of part of the adventure, is just getting
It's
there.
one of those trips where, like, yeah, we could fly,
Yeah,
but it's just bringing all your stuff, bringing everything back. It's like, it's within driving distance. Yeah, it's a long ways, but you break it up in 2 days. It's really not that bad.
well, we've had fun. We've been listening to some audiobooks and stuff like that, and
Yep.
having some good conversation. And like I said, now we're talking about hunting, or the hunt, and so the trip has honestly gone by really quick. I mean, we've been driving for, how many hours? We've been driving 8 hours today?
Yeah,
or
3.
traveling for 8 hours.
Yeah.
So, but this place that we went to, it's in Saskatchewan, and it's called Oliver Lake
Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah. Really cool outfit. If you guys ever get a chance, if you're looking at bear hunting, moose hunting, or fishing, highly recommend these guys. Like, it's pretty top notch. And again, like I said, Chad kind of talked about it before, but like, to get there, let me just kind of break this down a little bit. Like, okay, so we had to drive this whole way to get there, and whether you drive or fly, once you get there, part of the adventure is just getting to their lodge. So you get to what's called Cane Lake, and they have like a cabin and whatnot there, but that's not where we stayed. We got on a boat there. We loaded all of our stuff onto a boat, and then we took that boat across Cane Lake, stopped at a portage.
Portage.
A portage.
That's what the French call it.
Yeah, they say some weird stuff up here. Different stuff. Sorry, Mike Jones, if you're listening. I'm sure you are, but it's just different. Anyways, they go to this portage. You have to walk across it, and they have like some ATVs that carry your stuff over to other boats. We got on those boats, and then took about another, probably 30-minute boat ride from there to the lodge.
Yeah, 30-40 minutes, just on a fishing boat, basically. A Lund
aluminum
outboard motor boat. Yeah, Lumacraft.
But man, when you come around the corner, so it's a huge lake, and which was mind-boggling to me to see how much water is up here. But there's all these islands out on this huge lake, and you come around this one island, and just tucked back up in this cove is this just beautiful lodge with all these different cabins and like a dock set up there, and like it's probably one of the most picturesque places you'll ever see. It belongs in a magazine somewhere or on a puzzle.
It's cool. And what's crazy is it's so remote. Like, there's nothing touching it. And the only way to get there is by boat, or in the wintertime by snowcat.
Yeah.
That's what's so cool about it, is like you're literally in the most remote parts.
Yeah, outside of each other.
With some good accommodations, which is not bad. I mean, it's...
Yeah, you'd think that you'd be like roughing it out there, but you're not roughing it.
No, it's pretty nice. Like, I mean, the cabins are, little rustic cabins, nothing special with them, but
yeah.
I mean, he's got generator, he's got power, running water. They pump water right out of the lake. Filter it, and I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool setup. It's a pretty special place.
They cook you all 3 meals, or pack you lunch.
Well, and I had showed you videos and pictures of the place before we went up there, but it doesn't do it justice.
It doesn't. That's what I was gonna say. Is like, yeah, pictures just don't do it justice. Like, yeah, it looks cool. That's great. It's a lodge on the lakeside, but man, getting up there and actually seeing it in person, it is unreal, honestly. And they get to live there all summer long. That'd be a cool thing to do. So, yeah, Jason is the owner of it. His wife does all the cooking and whatnot. They've got other helpers and whatnot, but just a really cool setup. So if you guys ever are looking for a place for a spring black bear hunt or a fall moose hunt, or some good fishing, it's a great place to go. But anyways, that was part of the adventure, was just getting in there and getting back to a lodge. We got there, it was pretty late.
Sunday, right? Yeah,
about
Sunday. 5 p.m.
So we basically just got there and kind of just got set up for the night, had some dinner, and just kind of made a plan for the next day. In fact, our guide wasn't coming in for another couple days. We ended up going a little bit earlier, so Jason, the owner, he actually guided us for the first couple days. But man, it started off with a bang. Like opening morning, we get out there. I'll tell my part of it, and then Chad can tell you his part of that first day. But I got out there, and within just an hour of them dropping me off, this awesome blonde bear comes out. They set up the bait. So in Canada, you can hunt over bait. They had the bait set up, and like I said, about an hour after being there, that blonde bear comes in and he starts ripping the sticks out and grabbing everything that he can out of there. And that just started it. Then it was just, I had bear after bear after bear. I think I saw like, I don't know, 7 or 8 or 9 bears that first day. But I think we got spoiled on that first day.
Yeah, so we'd originally set up to go up there for 5 days.
Yeah.
And then it kind of happened to where they wanted us to come on Tuesday, but it was Memorial Day weekend before that, and you and I got talking about a month before, and we're like, why don't we just leave on Saturday and go up a couple days earlier?
Yeah.
And so we really didn't find out until like the week before, because they're just getting ice off up there. And so because we just told John Luke, we're like, hey, we can come earlier if you guys want us to, and we can hunt 7 days. And so anyway, it worked out. So we got up there a few days earlier. That's why John Luke wasn't there with us. Mm-hmm. And he was teasing us. He goes, hey, you can't shoot a bear till I get there. When I think going into it, I mean, we were like, yeah, that's cool. I mean, we want to kind of see what's going on.
It's first time.
I mean, I think both of us went in that first day not really planning on shooting anything. Like,
yeah,
wanting to kind of get figured out, hey, we've never done this before.
Right.
You know, and yeah, we got spoiled the first day. I mean, you saw a ton of bears. I think I saw 4 or 5 bears the first day as well, where I was at.
But we saw big boars that first day.
Yeah, there were some pretty good sized boars that we saw too. There was definitely, and so yeah, we kind of got spoiled, which kind of good and bad, because
it kind of set the bar.
It did, and then the problem was after that, it's like, okay, how picky do we want to be now? And then at the same time, it's like, this is still hunting. Like, yeah, there's no guarantees on anything, which
we learned that.
Yeah, that. Yeah, let's needless to say, Monday was a special day. That was pretty cool. We definitely got initiated. Like, we could have had bears down that very first day.
Yeah, and we could have had 2 really good boars down that first. Well, the biggest bear I saw was first day. Like he was a good big boar, and he came under my stand. He stood up and looked like at my feet, rubbed his back up against the tree. Actually, before he did that, he grabbed onto the tree and shook it. Like I think he was trying to shake me out of the tree or figure out what I was. But yeah, rubbed his back on the tree. But like Chad said, you know, it's a first day, and that's like it was for me. It was all day long. I just had bear after bear after bear coming in.
I know, like, you're texting me like, this is awesome. And I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm like, is this how it's supposed to be? Like, you know, I wasn't quite as action packed, but I had some good bears coming in.
Yours was more later in the day.
Yeah,
you started getting them later in the evening.
Yeah, I had Nervous Nelly. That's what I named it. I had this probably 3-year-old bear that kept coming in, and dude, that bear, I've never seen a more nervous bear in my life. I think it's because there was a bigger boar around.
Yeah, and
he was really nervous about getting his butt kicked. I mean, he went up a tree, I don't know how many times, and there was nothing there. He'd hear something, he'd scurry, run up a tree, and he'd come back down. So, but yeah, he was there every time I sat that bait. I saw him pretty much every time. And then, yeah, had some decent ones, a couple sows. And then,
well, that was kind of interesting too. It was like, again, we've already said this a million times. This was our first bear hunt, so we didn't really know. So trying to figure out what was a boar and what was a sow. We've done our homework and tried to figure it out. But bears are hard, you know, like they're really hard if you haven't done it, to kind of figure out what's what. So that was kind of another thing we were trying to do that first day, is figure out, okay, what does a sow look like, and what does a boar look like. And when a big boar comes in, it's kind of obvious.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's. They come in with a different kind of.
Some of the medium-sized ones though are pretty difficult to tell.
Yeah, I'd say anything from like a 4 to 7-year-old is. Yeah.
We got to be. I felt like I got to be better judgment.
Yeah.
I know when that first bear came in though, I tell you what, like I didn't know. You're sitting there quiet, you know, and trying to be quiet, not make a lot of movement. You know,
like it's a whitetail stand.
Well, yeah, or anything. Like anytime you're in a blind, right?
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I have a video of this. I'm like, the bear come in, and first I was like startled, like it was the first bear, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like bringing my camera up slow like this, trying to take a video. You learn pretty quickly. Like first of all, they're blind. Bears can't see that well. You can move around, and I mean, not crazy, but you can stand up, things like that. They're really not gonna spook out. And I figured that out later on. I was like, I can.
About day 3 or 4.
Which was actually pretty good because I had that guy because he was super nervous anyway. So I'm like, well, this guy's going to give me a good taste of like the worst case scenario, right? Because other bears kind of came in a little more nonchalant. They'd get some bear bait and they'd run off or do whatever. But so I did. It was good to practice. He'd come in. I'd knock an arrow, stand up, kind of get ready to shoot, and kind of cut my teeth on practicing on that guy a little bit, which I thought was definitely helpful, especially for later on in the week.
Yeah, and I was doing kind of the same thing, just figuring out like how much I can move with them and the noise I can make with them. So really cool thing about this place that we went to is a lot of their bait stands are they do this on purpose. They put them next to creeks or rivers that are running close by, and those are making a lot of noise, and so it kind of covers up a lot of the noise that you make in the tree stand. As we all know, like when you open up a granola bar in a tree stand or a ground blind, it's the noisiest thing in the world. So that kind of hid stuff, except for that didn't prove, completely accurate where Chad ended up getting his bear. But yeah, that first day, actually the first couple days, I think was just a lot of learning. That blonde bear that came in on mine, it was pretty easy to tell whether he was a boar or a sow, because he kind of, as he was getting the sticks out of the barrel, he was getting crazy with it and standing up, and so he showed me everything he had, which that made it really easy to sex a bear when he shows what he's got.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just started off with a bang and just had a lot of really cool bears coming in. The other thing that's cool about this place is we had a lot of color phase. Well, I had a lot of color phase coming in. First few days.
Well, a lot you had 2, right?
What's that?
I mean, is it a lot you meant like you had 2, how many did you have?
So I had 2 brown bears.
2 brown bears, okay.
Yeah, and then the blonde. So I guess I wasn't expecting to see that many. In fact, I was kind of just expecting to see straight black.
Which is pretty much all I saw. I saw all straight black bears.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all black. Jet black, which is the vast majority.
Yeah, which is cool. I mean, I love
there were some really pretty
bear.
coats. I mean, there was some.
But we told the guy, well, when we were going in on the boat with Jason, he was talking about, like, what are you guys looking for and whatnot, and trying to kind of help us understand what we do want to look for. But color phase is something that came up that we're like, hey, we would love to get a color phase. He's like, well, yeah, so would everybody. So I asked him, I said, like, do you guys have a lot of color phase out here? And he's like, honestly, we actually do. I can't remember the percentage he gave us.
It wasn't very high, though, but it's probably high. I don't know what.
I think he said like 15% or something like that. Maybe 20%.
I'd be surprised if it's even that high.
Yeah. But that's more than I think most places, because I think most places are just straight black bears, which again are really cool. But we told him, like, hey, we'd love to get a color phase bear if possible. And I told him, I said, if a blonde bear comes in, I'm going to smoke him. I don't care how big he is. Well, the first bear I see on the hunt is a blonde bear. And I text Jason right then. I'm like, hey, dude, I just passed on a blonde bear. And he's like, are you kidding me? I was like, yeah. I just want to see what else comes in. He's like, I bet that was really cool to see, though. I was like, yeah, that was cool to see. It's cool to see a blonde one out there. And the brown one was, oh man, the brown on him's kind of different. They were like almost cinnamon. Like cinnamon type of a color. A little bit of a reddish.
Yeah, kind of a reddish
tint. Gorgeous. I mean,
beautiful bears. Such
cool bears. And the other crazy thing was the weather. It was pretty warm up there for the majority of the hunt was pretty warm, but the first couple of days, like, I was kind of astonished by the weather that we had up there. It was 70s, high 70s.
Yeah. Just
beautiful. When we packed, at least when I packed, so did Chad. We brought our puffies. We brought.
Well, you just don't know.
Gators.
I mean, John Luke's texting us, say, hey, yeah, the ice just came off. In fact, there's still chunks of ice floating around in the lake. You're like, wow. And then obviously the water's very cold. So and in the mornings it was cool with the boat ride. Like, it was cooler coming in. But yeah, no, it was warmer. I think it was warmer than normal for them.
Yeah.
Looking at the forecast this week, I think it's a little more 50s and 60s is what they're getting this week. That's a little more what they're probably used to. That's I think we just hit it where it was really warm.
Which I don't know if that was good for bears or bad for bears. I think most animals like it when it's cooler.
Yeah, I think in our case, based on how the rest of the week went, I think the bears don't like it as much.
Yeah.
Because, things definitely changed as the week went on, and we had more action later in the evenings.
Yeah, because like that first day was like 70s, mid 70s, and then it got all the way up to like mid 80s. Like it got hot while we were there this last week. So definitely dealing with the weather. But good thing is like we didn't have to use our rain gear. Like it didn't rain on us or downpour on us. We got some sprinkles. Yeah. But it was really nice. And another cool thing, and Chad talked about this quite a bit with his moose hunts, is like their mode of transportation is boat. I mean,
everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere you go, you have to take a boat because that's how you get to the lodge. That's how you get to your hunting spots. Which that was part of the adventure in and of itself. Like just being able to, or just having to use the boat to get where we needed to go to get to all of our stands was a lot of fun. I never experienced anything like that before.
Well, they've got literally hundreds of miles of coastline on this lake. I mean, it's 60 some miles from point to point, but with all of the different bays and everything else, I mean, it's hundreds of miles all the way around. I think they've got, did they say 10 bait stands?
Yeah, I think they'll run 12 once he gets them all set up.
Okay, but he's got 10 active right now. Mm-hmm. And we were the only 2 hunters there, so we were kind of, they threw us on a couple early on that they had some early action on. Jason had gone up in April and did some initial baiting when there was still snow and stuff like that, which I guess they do. And then he got up there, 3 or 4 days before we did and rebaited, and then kind of saw, what stands were getting hit earlier on, and kind of knew, hey, there's some active bears in this area. Kind of gave us a good spot to start.
And boy, did he start in some active areas. Like he knew right where they were at and got it going. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Just a whole new adventure, new experience, being able to hunt like that. It's a different style of hunting, or it's not. I guess not. Yeah, it's a different style of hunting, but just the whole process of getting to and from your hunting stands and getting around from where you're going to go fishing and where the lodge is and everything. It's a whole different experience. But it was so much fun, and like I said, every day was an adventure. I mean, even if we didn't see bears, it was an adventure just seeing what was going on. So, but Chad had a good bear come in that first night as well. So we both about the same time had pretty good boars come in that opening night that we could have, and I don't know if I'm gonna say should have, but I don't know. Probably should have.
It's so hard. Like, you look forward to this hunt. You've got 7 days, right?
Yeah.
You've been seeing bears kind of all day. We got John Luke saying, "Don't shoot a bear till I get there." And then, then you see something. You're like, well, it's the first day. But then, nothing's guaranteed. I mean, these things aren't tied up, ready, waiting for us to show up. I mean, we're on public land.
These bears probably never even seen a human.
It's just, these guys are there, quote unquote, guiding us, but they're pretty much just baiting bears and putting us in spots, right? Yeah. So we're on our own to determine what to shoot, when to shoot, all that stuff. So there's no, we had a lucky first day, basically. I don't think most guys that go up there typically see that amount of bears that first day, which proved right the next day, right?
Yeah.
Because I went back to the same base down the next day and saw one bear. Nervous Nelly. He came in.
I was going to say, did you have a day that you didn't see any bears? The third day?
I'm trying to remember. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Well, at least one. Maybe.
You saw one every day.
But again, it's just, there's no guarantees on any of that. And so.
Well, and I assumed, so like we went back to the lodge that first night and I showed Jason the picture, and I sent it to John Luke as well. I'm like, hey, is this like a shooter? And like, oh yeah, that's a shooter, shooter bear. Like, it's not a jumbo. This is what they called the absolutely huge bears. But he was a big bear. He'd been a Pope and Young for sure. Both of them would have been. But they're like, yeah, that's a shooter. I was like, okay, well, I'll go back the next day, and he shows up. I'll go ahead and stick him, and we're gonna be done on day 2. So, It did not work out that way.
No.
The next day I did, excuse me, I did see some bears, but most of them were just small, about the size of Nervous Nelly.
Yeah.
And just, well, and also I did have a really good brown one come in that day, but at that point I could kind of figure out what a sow was and what a boar was, and I could tell that she was a sow. So I'm like, I'm not going to shoot a sow on the second day. Now, if push comes to shove, it's bear hunting, and if you have a dry sow, you can shoot a dry sow. Ultimately, you want to get a boar, but it was the second day. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to wait and see if that big boy comes in that night.
Yeah.
And he never did.
Yep.
So you saw one bear the second day. I probably did see 4 or 5 bears the second day, but just nothing big. Nothing that I really wanted to pull the trigger on that day. And then it just kind of got progressively
slower as the week went on.
Yeah. Well, especially for me, I feel like I really dwindled off.
Yeah.
You still had some good bears coming in, because day 3, so we kind of split up on day 3, and
yeah. So John Luke got there, and we went to some different stands. I went to Steel Bay. I think you went to Ellis Bay, right?
Yeah.
But we only did a half day. So we went out in the morning. John Luke picked us up at noon.
Tell him about the shore lunch.
Yeah, so we went and did a little bit of pike fishing on Wednesday, which was good. I mean, we wanted to fish some too. And I think we were, and he told this to you later,
yeah,
we were pretty aggressive hunters.
Yeah. He
said typically bear hunters that come in, he goes, don't hunt as hard as you and I did.
Yeah, he says you were the two hardest hunters we've ever had come in here.
So I think we were both very focused. Like, yeah, I love to fish sometime, but like even him coming and picking me up at noon to take me out for a shore lunch, I'm like, all right, get me back in the stand.
Yeah.
Because I can't. I'm not shooting a bear if I'm not in the stand, right? So
exactly.
It's like, so that was a little tricky. I think in hindsight, if we had to do this all over again, I think we would, take it a little easier. I think we kind of know a little bit better now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he picked us up. We went and did some pike fishing, caught a few pike. I was up at the northern end of the lake. And I think he picked you up and brought you up there.
Yeah.
Where were you sitting that second day?
I was at Ellis Bay.
You went back?
Or no, I was at Griffin's Bay in the morning.
In the morning. Okay. And you didn't see anything?
I didn't see a thing.
Yeah, I didn't see anything where I was at either. So he came and picked us up.
Yeah.
Which was the plan anyway. We fished for a little bit, and then instead of going back, he took me back to Pernikowski, where I'd started.
And he took me back to Bear Creek, where I started.
So we kind of went back to the place we'd been the previous 2 days.
I didn't see anything.
No.
Chad did.
Wait, was that Wednesday?
Yeah.
Did we go back?
By the way, guys.
Oh, yeah.
No, that was in Canada.
No, that was
rough.
Yeah, that was Thursday.
Was that Thursday?
Yeah, because we spent Wednesday at Ellis and Steel all day.
Yeah,
Thursday's the first day we did the shore lunch. Sorry, guys, running together. So, yes. So then I went back to Pernikowski that night. And sat there, and yeah, I had a monster. So we had asked them. So they've been picking us up about 9 o'clock, and here it doesn't get dark till about 10:30.
Yeah.
Now at 10 o'clock, it's pretty questionable shooting light.
Yeah.
Like it's getting pretty dark. And so we told them, we're like, hey guys, do you mind like leaving us until like the ultimate last minute? We don't mind getting back a little later, even skipping dinner if we have to, because we felt bad. We don't want them to make dinner for us, and we're not there,
Which that was another reason why they thought we were like crazy hunters.
Yeah, they're like, okay.
Late, eating dinner at 11 o'clock.
Yeah. So anyway, we had told them, we said, hey, just let us stay out a little bit later tonight. And so, so sure enough, and I get back to Pernikowski. I don't think I saw any bears at all until right about 10 o'clock. I can hear the boat coming. And John Luke had sent Casey to pick me up that night because he went south to get you.
Yeah.
And you can hear it's so quiet in there. You can hear the boats coming in from a ways out. So I'm like, okay, Casey's coming. It's pretty much end of light anyway. So I was like, well, I'm gonna start getting my stuff. So I'm kind of putting stuff back in my pack. Just so you guys know, I mean, we had like every time we were it was like a yard sale. We got inside of these stands. I mean, it was nice. They were roomy, but we had. I mean, you're sitting there. You're sitting there for like 16 hours. You got to have like battery packs out and
camera equipment.
Stuff. I mean,
so we can film
stuff everywhere.
Yeah,
water bottles,
books.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm like trying to get my stuff kind of put back together because I know he's coming. And so I'm not exactly being quiet, right? I'm sitting there. I'm standing up. My back's to the bait. I'm putting this stuff together. I turn around, and there is a monster boar sitting like a dog right next to the bait. Looking, and so just to kind of give you an idea, I am directly between the bait and the lake. So as you walk up from the lake, from the bay we're in, you walk to the stand, and then the bait's in a direct line in front of that. So the bear, I think, had heard the boat as well. So he was looking straight through me, below my stand, out towards the bay. And I didn't know this at the time, but Casey had, because I had told John Luke, he goes, hey, you can hear the boat when it comes, right? And I'm like, yeah. So as soon as I hear the boat comes, I'll get my stuff, I'll just come out. You guys don't have to come in here for me. Like, I can get myself out of here, go out.
We're not afraid of bears anymore.
Yeah, I'm like, I can walk out. I don't need, it's not that far. And so he had told Casey that. He goes, hey, Chad's just going to come out. Well, I turn around, and there's this massive boar, like, sitting there, 20 yards from me.
Seriously, like a dog. You took
like
a video
dog.
of him.
I took a dog. He's
sitting there like a dog, a fat dog.
Just sitting there staring. And I mean, there was no question. I mean, this guy had a pumpkin head. Like, he was like, and he didn't seem like that he was looking at me, but I think he was listening to see what Casey was doing.
Yeah.
And so I kind of froze, and I'd already put all my stuff away, right? So I'm like, well, so I'm getting my bow ready. I pull out an arrow, and he just keeps sitting there, and he hasn't given me a shot. And I guess what happened is Casey had realized that, hey, Chad's not coming. So he started kind of walking up the trail, but as soon as he saw the barrel, he saw the bear there, and he didn't have his gun. So he went back to the boat to get the gun, and when he left to go back, that's when the bear got up and walked over towards the barrel and gave me a shot. And so I draw back and let my arrow fly. I missed the bear by 5 feet. like completely missed the bear.
And this is a big bear.
At 20 yards.
At 20 yards, yeah.
And I went, and I couldn't believe it. Like, I was stunned. I'm like, what just happened? Like
way off to the right.
I'm like, that doesn't happen.
Well, you text me like it must have come off my.
I'm like, it had to have been off my wrist. Something happened because the arrow went wide right, and
they were like thinking, oh man, what's up with your bow? Like, we gotta go
I was
shoot
like,
it in the morning.
I was like, I'm not taking a shot because I can't risk. I don't want to wound a bear.
Yeah.
Like, if something's wrong, and so the bear, he didn't even really care. Like, he kind of turned around. Well, then at that point, Casey had come back with his shotgun, and the bear saw him, and then he ran off. And so then I got out, and Casey's like, hey, he goes, I didn't run that bear off on you, no, did I? I'm like, no. So I actually shot, and I missed. And I actually walked up there and got my arrow. And he's like, what happened? And I'm like, I don't know. I missed by like 5 feet. And it was funny because I sent the video to my wife later that night. And she showed it to my son, who's 14. He shoots with me all the time. And Kyle's like, he goes, Mom, how far was the bear? She's like, Dad said it was 20 yards. He goes, Dad doesn't miss. He goes, was he trying to scare it off or something? That's what he told her. And she's like, I don't think so. Yeah, he goes, I thought you were trying to scare it off.
That's not what I want to scare off.
No, I'm like, no, that was not.
Sink an arrow into him.
Yeah, I was flustered. Like, I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Well, you were texting me that night. And you're like, I don't know what happened.
Like something seriously wrong. Like, it wasn't just like I didn't shoot him under the belly. Like, I'm not off. Whatever. So anyway, long story short, big bear's gone.
I was say missed the big, really big. That was the biggest bear we ended up seeing.
Yeah, that was the biggest bear I saw.
Yeah, he was a. Chad has great, and there'll be a video coming out with all of this, guys, and so you'll see. I'll put a video of that big old bear in there. I don't know that I'll put the missed shot. Well, that one you didn't video.
No, I didn't video any of that because I had everything put away.
Yeah, you already packed up and ready to go. So, but I'll put a video of that big bear in there.
Yeah.
But then we're like trying to figure out like what's going on. So we got back to camp that night and we're talking about it and just like we're racking our brains. I mean, we shoot a lot. Like we shoot a lot.
20 yards
of bows.
is a chip shot, especially on a massive bear.
Yeah.
I mean. So yeah,
that's a 1-inch putt right there is what that is.
Yeah. So next morning we shoot our bows before we go out.
Yeah.
And of course it's dead on.
Perfect.
And I'm like, okay. I'm like, the bow's fine. Like it's shooting dead.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, something just had to have happened. I don't know what it was.
Just a freak accident, basically.
I'm like, I don't. Yeah. I'm thinking, is it the broadhead? Was it the rest? What? Something, but I don't know. Needless to say, I shot a couple arrows and they were hitting perfect at 20 yards. I'm like, well. they're hitting fine now. So
Yeah.
so anyway, we went back out.
Yeah.
Went back to Pernikowski that morning.
I went back to Bear Creek that same day.
And then didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Nothing came in that morning.
I had the blonde bear come in that day, and so pretty much the entire time I was in my stand, I had a sow and a little cub that were there all the time. Well, at that Bear Creek stand, every time I was there, they were pretty much there. Man, you know what was interesting about these bears that I was going to talk about, because we kind of breezed over Wednesday, because we really didn't have a whole lot happen. We were kind of in those newer stands, and not a whole. I don't think you saw a bear that day, did you?
No, I did it still. Yeah,
I had. That's right. Yeah,
that's where I had
two cubs,
the
huh?
little baby cubs. Well, then I saw a decent. I had a pretty decent bear.
Oh, that's right, you did.
That hindsight, I probably should have shot.
I had a little bear come in. That was all I had the whole day, was just one little bear that came in about the size of Nervous Nelly, and that one actually climbed up into my stand. I ended up kicking it in the nose. I was stepping on its paw and kicking it in the nose to finally get it to get out of my stand. But man, they were so curious.
The younger ones, yeah.
Yeah, the younger. Well, but even that big one that opening day, like, he was trying to figure out what I was, and then even Scarface. Remember Scarface that climbed up into my stand?
Yeah, it's
that
true.
one day
the one
too.
that climbed up with his teeth.
Yeah, because she was. I think it was a she. Was a lot bigger than the little bears, and so she had to use her teeth to climb up there,
Yeah.
which was a little intimidating.
Well, that's the thing, is they can see us, but unless they can really smell us, they don't know what's like. There's something weird there.
Well, they had to be able to smell us.
And I mean, we're so remote that they don't see people.
Yeah.
So it's pretty rare to them.
Well, they're not scared of much other than each other.
Yeah, they ran each other off quite a few times. There's some pretty good scars on some bears that have been beat up, and
Yeah.
there's definitely, the bears, the ones that have their head on a swivel, they're not the big one in the area.
Right.
And there's definitely some of that going on.
Yeah. They also kind of get like territorial with their baits too. I noticed that, like.
Oh yeah, well, it's just like a kill, right? A bear's going to get a kill, and they're a kill, and that's where people get in trouble.
They own that bait.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, I wanted to comment on that, because I thought that was really interesting for those that have either bear hunted or haven't bear hunted, how curious these remote bears get. And yeah, they'll climb right up into the stand with. I swear I had one in the stand with me almost every day, just trying to figure out what I was. But so yeah, that next day we didn't really see a whole lot. And then the second to last day that we were out there, I went back to Griffin's Bay, and that was probably the hardest day for me, one of the best days for him. But I didn't see a single bear. We sat there all day. We didn't go do shore lunch.
Wait, no, that was. Oh yeah, you're right. That was.
Yeah, second last day, right?
No, we had Friday.
Oh, where'd we go Friday?
So Friday we did a short lunch too, and we started. I started at Pernikowski, then you went back to Bear Creek, but then I went over to the channel.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was on Friday. So
tell them about what a shore lunch is, because like you said, we went and caught pike, but tell them what that is.
Yeah, so the lake that we're on is a trophy lake, so you don't keep fish. The way they've got it set up is it's trophy fishing only. I mean, they've got some world-class pike, lake trout. Huge. I mean, massive. I mean, it's a cool fishing spot. But they are allowed to. The limit's one a day, and basically it's one a day, and you can pretty much eat it. Yeah. So what they like to do is what they call a shore lunch, and so they'll bring some potatoes, onions, stuff like that, some oil, and then we'll catch a pike. They'll fillet it and fry it, and fish and chips basically on the shoreline.
Yeah.
And I was skeptical first. First time I was up there when I was moose hunting, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna catch a fish." I'm thinking, we're gonna eat a lake trout, like, and they're like, "No, not a lake trout, a pike." And I was like, "Really, a pike?" I was like, the same thing. I'm like, because we've got pike in a couple reservoirs in Colorado, and they're pretty much like trash fish. Like, no one wants them.
Yeah.
But it's warmer water, and they're like, "No, cold water pike is like the best." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll trust you guys." And I mean, they were absolutely right. I mean, it was some of the best fish I've had. I mean, you wouldn't know it was fish. It was like eating almost like a chicken tender.
It really was.
But it was white fish. I mean, yeah, it was great. So
yeah, they batter it up just like fish and chips.
Yeah, they batter it up, fry it right there over a fire.
Yeah, just makes a fire out there, and like they have cool little. The second place we went to was really cool. They have like a little
outpost cabin.
Outpost, yeah, just out in the middle of nowhere that we pulled up to, and had a little fire pit. Cooks it over just the stove over the fire there, and man, it was. I was in heaven that first day that we did it. I was a little nervous about the pike too. I've never gone fishing for pike. Just because I feel like everywhere, like down to like Colorado, they're not trash fish, but they're not really fish that you go after to
Yeah, they're not.
to eat.
Yeah, they're not really. I don't know.
They're cool fish though.
They are. I mean, they'll eat everything.
They're mean suckers though, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that was my first time catching a pike, and we caught quite a few. I mean, we only fished for just a little while there, but we caught quite a bit of them. So, but that was fun. Those shore lunches were good. But again, Chad and I kind of had that same mindset that, like, if we're not in that tree stand, there's no chance of us shooting a bear. So let's just
yeah, so actually that day, John Luke caught a fish and just met us there.
Yeah.
Like, he had to coerce us to come eat lunch. Like, we're not even going to fish, guys. We're just going to go eat. I'm like, all right. So we went and ate. And then, so obviously I had that big bear in the back of my mind. I'm like, I don't know if he's going to come back. We hadn't had great luck, like with the big boars being repetitive at the baits.
Well, it's the rut right now.
Yeah, so they're moving.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, he might be there, he might not. I hadn't seen him all morning. Nothing happened all morning. It was quiet. And John Luke at lunchtime, I said, yeah, I was just over. And when he have drops us off, he goes and checks and rebaits, and he's got cameras on a lot of these bait stands too. He's checking cameras, seeing what's hitting them. And I said, what about going over to the channel, which is another bait that they've got set up? And he goes, yeah. He goes, that one was hit pretty hard this morning. So he goes, I rebaited it. We can go in there. And so I was like, well. And at that point, the wind had kind of started to pick up a little bit. And I couldn't really decide, because it's always those dilemmas, right? You don't know. I mean, It's hunting. You can pick one or the other. Who knows what's going to happen? And so I told John Nick, I said, well, let's do this. Let's let the wind decide. When we get out of here and get back into the big water, you know, if we've got good wind, because they're basically on opposite sides of the lake. And I'm like, if I've got good wind for Pernikowski, let's go there. If we've got better wind for the channel, let's go there. So sure enough, as soon as we come out, he goes, hey, let's go to the channel. He goes, you're going to have better wind there today, this afternoon. And so I'm like, let's do it. So we get over there. And this one's different. This one's not on a creek. It's just kind of on the edge of one of the channels, which is actually a pretty wide channel part of the lake.
Yeah.
It's not really a channel, but that's what they call it. And dead quiet. Like, you could hear a pin drop back in there, other than the leaves rustling, you know, from the wind and stuff like that. Like, there's no creek running. So that was one place where I was like very, very quiet. Like, didn't want to spook anything and stuff like that. And so I sat there and had a couple little black ones come in. And that's where I saw my first color phase bear.
Yeah.
So I had a more of a cinnamon color phase bear that came in. But when John Luke, when I first got there, we were walking up and there was a bear on the bait. We ran off. We didn't get a chance to see him, but we heard him and he was grunting at us. And so it was probably about 2 o'clock. And so we get there and he goes, hey, I'm not even going to go touch the bait because there's a bear close. Let's just let it be. And I climbed up in the stand. He he just got out of there. And so quiet afternoon. And then about 5 o'clock, I had another big black bear come out. And I don't know if it was the same one or not, but you could tell he'd been sleeping not too far away. I mean, he still had leaves on his head from laying on the ground. And he was yawning, stretching. I got some video of him standing up against a tree to rub his back. And he actually came over to my stand and rubbed his back on the ladder that I was on. So anyway, he kind of hung out for a little while, didn't give me a shot, and went off. And I'm like, okay, well, he might be back. So I'm just going to be patient. And sure enough, about 2 hours later, he comes back. So this time I get set up. I got the videos. Everything's going. I'm getting set up. And he gives me a shot. Same thing happened as the night before. Same exact thing happened. I was so distraught. Like,
same thing, but 5 feet, like
5 feet to the right. Like, and I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, and I was so like distraught of this thing. I literally almost texted Jason and said, just come get me. Like,
yeah, because you don't want to send another
arrow. I'm like,
arrow.
I don't want to send another arrow.
I'm not going to wound an animal.
I've lost complete confidence in my setup. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I texted
you.
He texted me and he's like, dude, I am literally freaking out right now. I just had a bear come in and did the exact same thing. I missed by 5 feet to the right.
Yeah.
And they were like, so you sent me a couple texts like, could it be third axis?
I'm like, yeah, because we're up in a stand, but I'm like,
but the thing is, like, everything's always elevated, you know. So, well, except for Bear Creek, but most of them are elevated, so it's a pretty straight shot, like third axis, and it's not going to be off by 5 feet.
And you're right, it's not going to be off by that much. But I was checking everything. I'm like, I did not want to send another arrow.
Like, could it fall off the rest? But you have that hamski, that nice hamski that holds
enclosed.
It all right there.
It's all there. I'm like, something's not right. And so I'm sitting there just racking my brain, like trying to figure this out, like in there. And so I get up and I'm like going through my whole shot motion. I'm like, okay, what am I doing wrong? Like, and this, I had all this on video this time. So I pull up the GoPro. I'm looking at the shot. Of course, I can't see anything. I'm watching the shot through the video. That's just one I sent my son. And he's like, what'd you miss by 5 feet for?
Yeah.
Because that one you could clearly see the arrow. You guys laughed at it that night.
Oh, it's a great, again, I probably won't put it in the video of this hunt, but
it's part of the experience. Like, things go wrong. Like,
oh, yeah.
And so, and like I said, zero confidence at this point. I'm like, I'm done. I'm going home. I'm like, I'm not even going to shoot because I don't want to wound a bear. Like, I didn't want to do that. So I'm standing there and I'm up. I'm trying to, you know, check my axis with like a straight tree and all this stuff. And I'm aiming. And so I'm left-handed. I shoot left-handed, but I'm right-eye dominant. And so I've tried shooting right-handed before, but the reason is the vision in my right eye is not that great. So I've always been able to see better out of my left eye.
And you are left-handed, so
I'm left-handed.
That motion for you is okay.
Yeah, and so I've always done that. So by doing that, I have to close my right eye, because those who know, your dominant eye, your target moves.
Yep.
Right. So I'm sitting there and I've got both eyes open. I close my right eye. I'm looking through the peep, and I noticed as I closed my eye, my sight moved to the left, and I was like, huh. And then so I move it over where it should be. As soon as I open my right eye, I'm 5 feet right, literally staring at my lighted knock in the ground, right where my arrow hit. And I was like, I cannot believe I said I inadvertently, and I think it's because, first of all, these are just big black blobs.
Yeah, it's just a blob. You're trying to
and
look
you're
at
only
the leg.
you're only at 20 yards. So looking through your sight, you just see a black spot, right? You don't see the whole animal.
Yeah.
I think what I did is inadvertently watching him, I had both my eyes open, and so when I came up and to full draw, I was watching the bear, and I set the sight up based on my right eye being open.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was just like you said, like, well, what about muscle memory? Because we've shot thousands of arrows.
Well, that's what I told John Luke. John Luke's like, because he came and got me first, and I told him that it happened again, and he's like, how, like, you guys shoot bows? I'm like, no, we shoot a lot of bows,
Yeah.
like thousands of arrows. He's like, how does that happen? I was like, I don't know, because muscle memory should take over and
No, it should, yeah.
do that.
And like I said, everything else went through fine. And I was like, and I think it was just that I had both eyes open. I was watching the bear. I was waiting for him to come to the right spot, and I left. And you know, most guys do that though. Most guys will shoot with both eyes open.
Yeah, I do a lot.
As long as you're shooting with your dominant eye, right?
Yeah,
and I'm
which
not.
I do.
And I'm not. And so that basically bit me. I mean, that's what it was. And I was like, I was relieved for one. I figured it out.
Yeah,
because I was
and
like,
it wasn't a bow failure.
It wasn't a bow failure. Yeah. And so at that point, I was like, okay. But
you already had 2 chances.
I
Here
know.
I am at day 5 and haven't even had a chance to throw an arrow, or I guess I had chances. I just
let's
didn't.
just say it's been an expensive broadhead trip. But
well, and I said it was kind of like at the beginning of this podcast, like this was a trip of a roller coaster of emotions, and that kind of kicked it off. Is like, because you said, you're like, I'm done. I'm not sending. I think you texted that to me. You're like, I'm not shooting again.
I can't shoot again. I'm like, that's the last thing I want to do is, well, next time I'm only missed by 3 feet and hit him in the butt, right?
And that's not going to kill it. That's going to just
and then I don't want to do
wound
that.
it.
So yeah, I was like, and I kept doing it again, and sure enough, I'd close my eye, and it put my sight right on that knock where the arrow hit, because I knew where the bear was, and I was able to hold in that same spot.
Yeah.
And then it moved it over, and I'm like, holy cow! I can't believe that happened. I'm like, it's just,
that's hunting though. I mean, we said that so much this trip, but
things just go wrong, and like, I would have never in my life thought that would have ever happened.
And even to like the muscle memory point is, it really should, like, it almost should be automatic that you close that right eye.
Yeah.
when you
Well,
shoot,
and I've killed animals before, and it's never been a problem. I mean,
but I think it's because another thing is this was later in the day, so it's darker. You're shooting at a black blob, so you're trying to get as much light. You're trying to get as much.
Trying to see the animal as much as you can.
See as much as you can, and so it makes sense that you would open up both eyes at that point.
Yeah.
But just crazy that it happened twice on two really good
two
bears.
really good bears. I know. Yeah, he wasn't quite as big as that bear from the night before, but he was a good bear. I mean, he would have been a big boar. I mean, he was.
I'd say he was comparable to the ones we saw on the first day.
Yeah, well, bigger than the one I saw on the first day. The one
really?
I saw was that really lanky,
true.
like it was a big bear, but it wasn't like a great bear.
That's true. Yeah, mine had like the big belly that was hanging low and whatnot. But
so anyway, so I sat there in my tears and just moped around the rest of the evening. Watched. I mean, that's when the other color phase came in, which was kind of cool. I saw him.
Yeah.
Had another sow. Had a sow with a cool little white patch on her chest, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Saw some other cool bears in there. So kind of set the stage for then Saturday.
Yeah.
So Sunday's our last day, so we had 2 days left basically. So we just gone through 5 days of not getting a bear.
Yeah, well, highs of highs the first day, and then just like just doing everything we can and just
going down. I mean, I was like
frustration.
I was ready to retire after day 5 after what happened, but
but at least you found out what it was, and the video, it was funny. I'm not, to you it probably isn't funny because that's angry. I mean, it makes you angry, but just crazy that it would go that far off. And
it was
just you never dreamed that happening in a million years.
No, you don't. I mean, it's wild. And I mean, think of everything else you go through with your setup, and
so we're down to the last 2 days, and I kind of just worn out Bear Creek. So we kind of talked about it, and John Luke had checked the SD cards, or the chips is how they call what they call SD cards, and he's like, hey, Griffin's Bay, like I know you sat there the other morning, but it's getting hammered pretty hard. And he showed me some pictures. There was a huge bear, a huge pumpkin head bear coming in there, and he's like, I know you're seeing a lot of bears down there, but let's go here and see if we can just get a really big bear. And so I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and go back there. That second to last day, which again, kind of that roller coaster of emotions, I saw nothing. Like I told him, I was like, I didn't even see a squirrel. Like I sat in that stand from, well, they dropped me off at 7:30, picked me up at 10:30 at night.
Yeah, so this is our second to last day. We told John Luke, hey, no lunch today, man. We're hunting, sun up to sundown.
We're getting a bear.
We've got 2 days left. We're gonna stick it out.
Yeah.
And we went out there, and that was a rough day for you, man. You saw nothing.
It was and for your second to last day, if it would have been like the second day of the hunt or the third day of the hunt, maybe one thing, but second to last day when you're really hoping to kind of seal the deal, and now we're not pushing it to that last day, and absolutely nothing.
Well, and mine honestly wasn't much better because I got there and I did have a bear on the bait right away. Again, he kind of grunted at us as we came up, but it was this scrawny little 2-year-old, like one of the ugliest bears I've seen. I'm sorry, that guy had a poor spring, man.
No.
He was. It might have been a she actually. He rubbed pretty good still. I mean, it was. Yeah, I'm not even shooting that bear on the last night.
Yeah,
like it's not even.
Well, and that young, a little 2-year-old, she's fresh from
3 maybe. But it was a scrawny little bear. So that one came in 2 or 3 times that morning, and then there was nothing. So it was a pretty quiet day there, and then about 6 o'clock. So the day before, I had a decent little black bear that was kind of hanging around the stand, and then that, like I said, that color phase had come in. It was probably a medium size bear when you consider medium, And I was like, well, that's cool. I'm like, I hadn't seen a color phase yet, and you and I coming up here, we were like, hey, it'd be awesome if we got a color phase bear. And I'm like, but we wanted to get a big bear too,
Yeah.
But being the second to last day, that was the third to last day when it came in. So I was like, well, I'm not going to shoot him today. Like he was a good bear, but I had just missed that other one, so I wasn't shooting, and I didn't know if that bigger one was going to come back. So that was another reason I didn't pull the trigger on Friday. Yeah. So anyway, Saturday I'm sitting there, and about 6 o'clock, when the bear came in on Friday on me, he kind of made a pretty grand entrance. Like he was pushing down trees and like moving stuff around. Like he was being pretty loud. Like I heard him coming from a while away. And at that time I had a sow on the bait, and actually she growled at him and ran him off the first time he came in. And then he came in later and got on the bait. Well, Saturday I'm sitting there about 6 o'clock and I hear the same crashing, except coming from my left side. And I was sitting back thinking, that'd be pretty funny if that's that color phase. And then sure enough, I see a brown movement through the trees. And I'm like, oh crap, it is a brown bear. And so I keep watching, I'm watching, and then, out he comes. And he came over and kind of started milling around. So I'm grabbing my stuff. I'm like, all right. I'm like, this is going to be the bear.
You text me too. You're like, hey,
I'm like, the cinnamon's here.
Yeah,
I
cinnamon's
texted
coming
you.
in, right now.
Yeah, so I texted Taryn real quick, cinnamon's here, and I put my phone down. And, so I get it all set up, and he kind of mills around the barrel a little bit, comes around the backside of the barrel, kind of comes over, gives me a perfect shot. This time, smoked him. Like, perfect shot. My right eye was closed.
I was going to say, sit like this, hopefully.
Yeah. I was like, it's, now I'm aware.
Yeah.
And smoked him, like, clean pass through. He barked, turned around, ran off 20, maybe 25 yards, and heard a bunch of rustling in the trees, and then it was just quiet. And I was like, oh crap, like I got him. So I sit down, I text John Luke, I text you. I'm like, bear down. In the meantime, you had told me, you're like, no, but the bigger one will come back. Just let him be.
Yeah, when you said the brown one was coming in, I was like, oh man, then that's like where he's coming. He'll be there tomorrow. Wait and see if that big one comes in.
Dude, there's no guarantees for tomorrow, man.
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, boy,
tomorrow's the last day. I was like, no, there's no guarantees. I'm shooting this bear. Like,
yeah.
It's ending tonight. Like I'd gone through enough emotion. Mm-hmm. Like I was like, I'm ready for this to be over.
Made a great shot though. I mean,
yeah,
perfect shot. Good, like you said, good pass through. Got it all on video.
Third time's the charm, apparently.
Yeah, the third iron will get sent, and
yeah. So this is the first time I'd hunted with the iron will wides.
Yeah, me too.
And I'd always hunted with the iron will broadheads. So we bought the wides. The wides are pretty wide. I mean, I don't remember the exact spec on it, but it's over 2-inch cut.
Yeah.
For a fixed blade, which is a big blade. And so your arrow's got to be able to steer those. And even the guys over at Iron Will say, hey, yeah, probably don't shoot these over 40, 50 yards because you're going to get some inconsistencies with
you're going to see some pinwheels and
past that yardage.
Stuff like that.
We thought, man, 20 yards in a bear set, this is perfect for that. Plus, we're going to get a big old hole in him. Going to be no doubt. And sure enough, man, that thing punched right through.
Double lunged him. Like, he bled out. There was tons of blood. Like I said, he didn't go very far at all. He died. 20 yards.
Yeah, so anyway, I was super grateful. Beautiful color phase. He's not the biggest bear, but again, my first bear, I'm like, this is...
I was gonna say, for a first bear, like it doesn't have to be the biggest bear on the mountain.
No.
And not many people get to shoot color phase bears.
No.
Like that's
exactly.
pretty unique.
I sent a picture of my wife. She goes, I didn't know they had grizzlies up there. I'm like, that's not a grizzly. She goes, I thought you were going black bear hunting. That's a brown bear. And I'm like, yeah. And I had to kind of explain that to her. But it's surprising how many people don't know that.
I know.
There's a lot. I guess we say that because we're hunters, but there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, it's a black bear.
It's still a black bear. It's just a color phase black bear
family.
So
anyway, he's a beautiful bear. I was super excited. I was like, oh, it's done.
I wanted to get on the stand. I almost text John Luke and said, hey, come pick me up. Like I'm done with this stand. For one, I haven't seen anything all day long.
Yeah.
And two, I just want to go
be over there when I got him.
Yeah, be part of that whole experience and see it.
You never know, man. It's like that night, two nights before. It was like right at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
That big boar came in. It was like that didn't help everything either. You just you had to hold it out and wait.
I knew. That's why I was like, I got to hold it out until the very last minute. Yeah, because it came in at 9:30, 10 o'clock. So I'm like, all right, I just got to wait until the absolute last moment I can. And it was quiet over there too, so I was trying to just be quiet, but at the same time, like, I wanted to be over there with you, and I wanted to see your bear for one. I mean, I knew I'd see it, but I wanted to see it while it was still intact, and because they have a pretty good system set up. Like, they take the entire bear out of the woods, take it back to their they have like a skinning table island that they take it to. And
we loaded the bear whole in the boat.
Yeah, they have a huge bag that they can put.
A big grain bag.
Man, you can put a huge bear.
Well, 4 guys, you can lift the bear up. I mean, they're what, 200 pounds?
Yeah,
250 maybe.
I'll probably about. I asked John Luke. I was like, "How big do you think bears were?" And he's like, "Oh, about 250 to 280."
Oh, really? Okay.
So I was like, "Oh, okay. That makes me, that's good." So
yeah.
So yeah, Chad was able to get his on the second and last day, and like I said, didn't see anything. I didn't see anything that last day, but we kind of got back to camp and celebrated, and I got to see Chad's bear, the hide of it. They had it laying out there, just washed it, pulled all the meat off, so we're bringing all the meat home, and just kind of celebrated there for a little bit, and then kind of made a plan for me for the last day. And I figured, well, I've seen a lot of bears at Bear Creek. Let's go back there and just see. I mean, I'm going to see bears. I've seen big bears in there. I saw that big one actually another day. He just kind of walked through right at last light. Not where I could shoot him though. He didn't come into the bait. And so I was like, well, let's go back there and see if I can get him. But I'd also kind of thought, well, that blonde one is in there.
Yeah.
And he was the first bear I saw. He's the one that, I told Jason before the hunt ever started, like, hey, I'd like to get a blonde color-faced bear. That would be so cool. It's just so unique.
Well, and I texted you after my bear was down.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, dude, you better shoot that blonde because now we need to have their twins.
Have both color phases. They're both like the same size.
We've seen the video. They're both about the same size,
same
age class. So I was like, you just got to do it.
He's like, shoot the blonde and we'll have twins.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, and I've seen him quite a bit. I've got lots of video of him, and I thought, okay, that should be doable. Maybe something else comes in, but at minimum, he should come in. And Chad, I told him, like, hey, you can go out and do some fishing, but he's like, nope, I'm going in the stand with you. We're gonna get video of you shooting this thing, like, kind of exactly what we did in New Zealand, but backwards. And I was like, sweet, like. Plus, just have somebody in the stand with you. That was so nice, having somebody there, so you didn't have to sit there alone all day long.
Yeah.
Not that we talked a lot. You're still trying to be quiet and whatnot, but it's still fun to be there together. Anyway, so we get up that morning, and again, we're gonna do another long day, full sit. We're not coming in. We didn't pack a lunch that day. We ate so. Jamie, Jason's wife, she fed us so well. I mean, we had steaks and pork chops. And
salads.
That pasta salad, dude.
Oh, dude.
Did you get that recipe?
No, but I should text Jason for that.
We should. That was
good.
Amazing.
It was awful because we couldn't really enjoy it. It was like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night every time we're eating dinner.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, she made those sirloins that one night, and I only got through about half of that. I'm like, it's 11 o'clock at night. If I eat more of this, I won't be able to sleep.
Well, I ate all of it, and I couldn't sleep that. Well, and it was also the last night before, or the second last night. Yeah, so I was having a hard time sleeping anyways. So yeah, we didn't even pack a lunch that last day. We're like, no, we're good. Honestly, we've eaten so much, and it's just not. We don't eat this much, and so we'll just eat some first Phorm bars and stuff like that, and just call it good, and just make it easy. We're gonna sit all day long. That way, no boat comes in or anything like that. So anyway, so we got out to the stand. We got out there about 8.
We went back to Bear Creek.
Yeah, back to Bear Creek. And kind of planning on doing Siri's, or not Siri, whatever your Android is telling us what to do with our maps here. But we went back to Bear Creek, and kind of, like I said, kind of going after that blonde bear, but then also seeing what else came. When we got there, actually, there was a huge new scat pile right underneath the stand too. And so I thought, well, man, something's really going to come in. But the weather really turned that last day. So it had been hot every day of the hunt up until that last day, yesterday. And it was windy. So, I mean, the wind was so strong, and it was cold. Like, we were all bundled up. And we were so cold, like, we were shivering in that stand. Which
it had been warm every day. Well, warm. And it progressively got cooler as the week went on. But, like, I mean, before we left that morning, I'm like, I'm going to throw my puffy in my pack just in case, which I'm glad I did, because, it got chilly. We were chilled.
I wish I would. We talked about it. I was like, I'm not going to throw it in. It's not going to get that cold. I wish I would have thrown it in because it got super cold. So walking into the stand that morning, I was the first one in and saw the sow and her cub there at the bait, and we kind of ran them off. It's like, okay, hey, this is starting off good. I've already seen 2 more bears today than I saw the day before. So
the resident sow and cub.
Yeah, man, I got so many cool videos of them up trees. They spent 24 hours in a tree. I left one night, came back the next day. They were still there, and they stayed there all day long. But anyways, we ran them off. Didn't run them off. They just kind of spooked out there a little bit. And so we got set up in the stand, and we didn't quite yard sell it that day because we were both in one stand, but we still had plenty of stuff. Chad had to hang his bag off the side of the stand and whatnot. But about noon, 1 o'clock ish was when we had our first bear come in. So we sat there all morning long, didn't see anything. Finally, this little itty bitty thing. Are they stopped, Chad?
Oh.
Or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Ahead.
Anyways, because this guy's kind of off the side of the road here. You guys are getting the full experience here as we're trying to maneuver.
Some construction up ahead here.
Yeah, navigate out of Canada here. Anyways, about noon or 1, this little bear came in. Just a tiny, I mean, probably like that.
Yeah, like that scrawny one I had.
Yeah, rubbed off. He wasn't rubbed off that bad, but just tiny. I told Chad, I'm like, all right, this is done. I'm shooting him. He's like, I'm going to take your arrow. You're not shooting that little bear. I was kidding. I wasn't going to shoot him. No. He's just a small one. But he came in a few times, and then finally, and he was super nervous while he was in there, like Chad was saying, looking for something bigger to come in and attack him. But he'd grab a scrap and run away, and then he'd come back and grab a scrap and run away. And finally he left, and so we sat there all day long. No bears came in, and at the place where I'd seen so many bears all week long. Of course, the last day, nothing comes in, and it was about 7:30, and we're kind of counting down how much longer. Like Chad would pull up his phone. Oh, we got 7 hours left. We got 5 hours left. We got 3 hours left.
The countdown.
Yeah, and so about 7:30, like I kind of got in my head a little bit, and I'm like, oh man, like we go this whole week. I've passed up so many bears, and I'm gonna go home empty-handed. Like we go on our first bear hunt, and I don't know, we don't get a bear hunt very often, like this, anyways. And so I was like, man, this may be my only opportunity to really go bear hunting. Hopefully not, but maybe. And I was like, man, that just sucks, because I figured there was nothing coming. The wind was still blowing really hard, and it was cloudy. It started to kind of sprinkle a little bit, and I was like, yeah, there's just nothing gonna come in. And about 8 o'clock, and I don't know where he came from. I don't know how he got to where he was at. I was kind of standing up, just looking around. Chad was,
it was just something.
Yeah, on his phone or something, and all of a sudden I look down, and that bear is standing next to the bait bucket. And like I said, I have no idea where he came from, so I hit Chad.
It was so loud in there with the creek running,
and the wind.
when the trees rustling, like we couldn't hear anything coming.
Yeah.
And and that's what we're doing in the stand, is we're just kind of sitting there, just trying to keep our minds occupied, and
just wait for
playing a stupid game or watching a movie or doing whatever, and looking up every once in a while, looking around, and then all of a sudden there's a bear.
Yeah.
Like literally that fast.
Just a ghost. Like all of a sudden he wasn't there, and then because I was standing looking, like I was looking around, and he went from nothing being there to there's a bear standing there, and it was the blonde one, of course. The very
like of any bear to come in.
Yeah, because we said it. We kind of figured like a decent sized black bear was going to come in, and that's what I would.
That's what you're going to shoot. You're going to shoot whatever any shooter bear that's coming at that point.
We're going to shoot. Yeah. But of course, it's the blonde one, the very first bear I ever saw on this trip, the color that I wanted anyways. And it happened extremely fast as soon as we saw that bear. I'm so glad I had Chad there, because he turned on the GoPro, so videoing back at me shooting. He pulled up his camera to video the kill shot. I had a hard time getting because I was shooting those Ys, those iron wheel Ys. I had a hard time getting it out of my quiver, so I had to go to the other one I had. Anyways, got it, pulled up, shot, smoked him.
And like this all happened in like 30 seconds
or less,
because he was standing there. He wasn't the bait yet, but he'd come out of the woods and kind of stopped.
Yeah, perfect. He was perfect broadside. Yeah,
and
absolutely perfect spot.
Yeah, and so it just like that, and that's just it only takes one, man. It's just like that, and that's hunting. Like it can be quiet, and all of a sudden that one moment comes, and then next thing you know, I mean, it's happening.
But speaking of muscle memory, like I don't remember anything from
the shot.
Yeah, from the moment I put that arrow on the knock.
Yeah, and you smoked him. You hit heart shot. It was perfect.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Smoked. Perfect pass through. He went maybe 20 yards, and then he kind of went up and kind of came back down a little bit, and then started the death moan, which we had never heard that sound. Obviously, we haven't killed bears before. It's a little eerie to hear that sound, but kind of interesting too. Like,
Yeah.
I keep saying it sounds like a cow, kind of like a cow mooing. Like,
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Mine didn't moan.
yeah.
Mine rustled and it was just quiet.
Well, I think you lunged yours.
Yeah.
So I think he probably couldn't breathe.
Yeah, he probably nothing. There was lungs filled up and he was done.
I definitely heart shot mine because he sprayed blood right there everywhere. Again, didn't go 20 yards, but yeah. And then just the emotions hit, and and the adrenaline hits, and it was just such a really cool experience to go all day long, all hunt. We had it. I mean, when I shot him, it was 8 o'clock, so we had
a couple hours.
Hour and a half to 2 hours at most left in this hunt. I'd given up on it, like I said. Just I figured it was not happening, but it did. So about the same size bear as Chad's.
Yeah.
We both come home with color phase black bears. He's got a cinnamon. I've got a blonde. We need to look up some mounts and stuff of what we want to do. I think we're probably gonna do rugs.
Just
with
do
them,
rugs, yeah.
But we're gonna look up some stuff. But man, just a crazy experience. It was fun. Texted the guys, told them bear down. I told John Luke which one it was, so he knew which one it was, and
yeah, we didn't wait for the guys. We knew he was dead. We got out of the stand, went over there, got him, took pictures, had all that while we waited for them. Because where you were sitting, that's a jaunt from the lodge. It's a pretty good ride.
Yeah, I was clear down at the very south end of the lake, so it took a while. But yeah, we went and got some great pictures of him, checked out the shot, recovered my arrow, which doesn't even look like it would, anything ever happened to it. But yeah, it was a cool experience. Took it back to the skinning table. They got it all skinned out. Got the meat cut off of it. So we've got all the meat with us. We got the hides with us, the skulls, everything. Because we got to go through the border here pretty soon, or hopefully pretty soon, and get it all checked in. But man, we've had the adventure didn't stop there.
Yeah.
We've had a heck of a day today.
Yeah, that was last night.
Yeah, that was last night. The shooting of my bear, and we got it all taken care of. But got on the road today. Had to go across all the waters to get back to Chad's truck. But man, even just trying to get home, so right now there's these big fires in Canada, in Saskatchewan, and we literally just drove through one of the fires.
Yeah, like I could not believe the road was open.
Like we couldn't see, like Chad couldn't see. He ended up having to take his tires like off the side of the road to fill the side of the road.
It was that thick of smoke.
And the heat on the side of the vehicle was crazy. How hot it was.
That was not very fun. I don't want to do that again.
No offense to Canada, but the U.S. would never keep that road open.
I was very surprised that was open. Unless they're trying to get critical people up to L'Orange, but I don't know. At first we started going through the smoke, like we could see the fires, and we're like, oh, that's kind of cool. We're
like, oh, let's video the flames.
There's this video of the flames. There's a little bit of flame here on the side of the road, and then it got real. And we're like, oh, wait a minute.
The flames are right outside the window.
No, like full on trees on fire, and we're driving, and we're like, oh, this isn't.
Yeah, these are like 20-foot trees on fire. Like the flames were probably 30 plus feet in the air.
Yeah, that was wild. That was something that. That was not very. It got not very fun really fast.
We went bear hunting for a week, and our closest near-death experience was on the
fire
drive
on the way home. I know.
But man, it was a fun hunt, and we wanted to just kind of recap it while it was super fresh in our minds, and thought, why not do a road podcast and record this while we're on the road home. Let you guys kind of experience the roller coaster of emotions and everything that we went through. But man, we've had some fun adventures, but this was a fun trip. This was.
Yeah, we learned a lot. Learned a lot about bears. That was fun. I think, if we were to ever do it again, I think, John Luke's right. Like, we hunted them hard, but we didn't need to. I think they're more evening sits would be more appropriate. We saw some bears in the morning, but not good bears.
No.
Littler ones, they were kind of out and about. Most of the bigger boars was definitely later in the day, for the most part.
Yeah.
We probably should enjoy ourselves a little bit more next time. Do a little bit of fishing.
It's just not our nature.
I know.
We're kind of like.
Yeah,
we're here to hunt. We're gonna hunt the way that we hunt, But I don't know. I think part of the fun thing about hunting a new species is learning that species. And
Yeah.
I learned more about bears this week than I have my entire life.
Oh yeah, I hadn't observed bears like that before.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you don't really see them that up and that close, to where you can really, watch them and learn and see what they do and all of that, which was fun. And I enjoy that just as much as anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, that first day I was having so much fun just videoing bears. It's like, and then it got to the point like 4 or 5 days, 6 days into the trip where I'm not even videoing the bear anymore. It's the same thing. I've been videoed this like 5 or 6 times already.
Yeah, I quit videoing them as they came in because I've already got that. I've got hours of video of bears. Yeah. But man, we're getting better with our videoing. It's been a struggle, but we got some audio videos going on, like when we're in the stands. So, like I said, a video will be coming out of this hunt and how everything went down. So, but we got some good quality video that we can put together for that. So really looking forward to it.
We even got some drone footage.
Yeah, we got drone footage and we got 2 kill shots.
Yeah, we got everything on kill shot.
That's amazing. Not only the kill shot of the animal, but looking back at us drawing, and like we did it right this time. So it's going to be a really fun video to get out there for you guys. Not sure when it'll come out. It's going to take a little time to get that edited and put out there. We'll get the podcast out pretty quickly because I know a lot of you've asked for this and want to hear it and how the whole thing went down. So, but Chad, thanks, man. That was a good time.
Oh, it was so much fun. Like, we look forward to these all the time for this reason.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be like Alaska in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Alaska in 2 weeks to go do some fishing. And then Alaska in September, like that.
Yeah, that's going to be, we're really looking forward to that trip. We've been blessed.
We have
opportunities to do things like this. And just, yeah, it's great we're coming home with bears, but dude, it's been so much fun just the whole trip.
Yeah.
Like just getting out.
Just the adventure, the experience.
Looking at going to other countries and experiencing, like seeing different parts of the world. It's like, we're not going far. I mean, we're Canada and Alaska, but still, to me, it's just like
New Zealand.
Well, yeah, but you say, but like up here, it's like it's a different, just the trees and the ecosystems and
the water,
and it's just so cool to be able to experience those places. I mean, where you and I went, very few people will ever see that. Ever.
Oh yeah. Very, very few people will see the spots that we've been at.
And that's to me, that's cool. It's like really getting to see that.
That's what I kept trying to tell myself last night before the bear came in.
Like, if worst case, I'm like,
hey, this has been an amazing adventure. Like, it really has. Like, this has been, like, bucket list type of an adventure. And to be able to do this, at our age, like, that's, like you said, we've been very blessed to be able to do the things that we're doing. But it's also, I love having that next adventure on the books, though, too. Like, we've been looking forward to this Canada trip for a long time. Looking forward to the next one. We've already got a few booked.
Yeah, we got a few fun things coming up.
We'll have to keep that going.
Yeah, boys drew tags.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That'll be a cool hunt, too. We'll have to do a really good video on that one, too.
Both our boys, yeah. That'll be fun.
Yeah, we're going back to a unit in Colorado that we know really well, and I think that's just going to be, we're going to have fun, man. We see something with some antlers on it, we're going to smoke them.
4 14-year-old kids?
Yeah, 4 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
None of us dads have tags.
Yeah. But dude, it's so much, like, I had so much fun in your stand with you shooting that bear as anything else.
Yeah.
Like, that's just so exciting when you're with somebody else and that happens. Like, that's just it too. That's all part of it. I know we're going to be that excited if our kids can connect on a deer.
Oh yeah. Or even more so.
Yeah.
Watching your kids do what you love and succeed at it. Like, oh, that will be fun. And so we'll have our 2 boys, but then we got 2 other females, girls that are coming as well. So I think we're just gonna have a good time. We're gonna make it fun for them. It's not gonna be a hard hunt. We'll just make it very enjoyable for them, and yeah, I think that they'll enjoy it, and maybe half as much as we enjoy it. So, okay, well guys, we'll sign off for now, but hope you guys enjoyed the Canada bear experience, our adventure. Make sure you guys are following the podcast And if you're not subscribed, get subscribed on YouTube. All these podcasts are going up on YouTube, even though some of these you're just looking at our faces. I'll probably plug in some of the video from the hunts throughout this podcast. So if you're listening to this podcast, maybe one that you want to watch, if you want to watch some of those video clips, just because we have so much video, and it'll be really cool. So, but definitely make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Any support you guys give us. Also, still got some hats. Chad and I both got them. They're lucky hats, by the way.
Yeah.
So
these are on our heads.
They're killing hats. So if you need a hat that kills animals,
And it's a comfortable hat.
It is a comfortable hat. You really can't get any better than these hats.
I'm particular on hats, and I wear this one.
It's a good one. Okay, guys. Sure appreciate you. Make sure to check all the links out down below. If you guys need any stuff from Gragsaw, Kuyu, First Phorm, anything like that, make sure and check that out. But we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.